have the good evening and welcome to Camnet TV main news today, the 21st of July in the year 2026. Let's now take a look at the news headlines. 3 convicted for harboring, aiding illegal immigrants. UNZA students escape unhurt as fire destroys property at October 2 hostel. TIZ challenges ECZ to act on traditional leaders' political endorsements ahead of pause. In international news, insecurity and poor services putting South Sudan women's lives at risk. In sports, BANDA targets World Cup qualification as Copper Queens begin preparations. Join us for these and many more stories after the break.
Voting is one of the few moments where we all have a voice.
One person, one vote.
No titles, no status.
Just a choice.
It's not about doing nothing.
It's about showing up.
Because your vote matters.
It's easy.
It's important.
It's ours.
Count me in.
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 Before 2022, millions of Zambian children stayed home because school was unaffordable for many families. Today, things are much better. No more tuition fees, no more PTA fees, and no more examination fees. More than 2.5 million children are back in class across the country. Schools are feeding our children and classrooms are full again. And with the enhanced Constituency Development Fund, more classrooms are being built. More desks are being made. More teachers are being hired. Because Bali cares. He has delivered this for all children across Zambia. Because free education is not just a policy. It is a promise to every Zambian child. A promise that poverty will not decide their future. A promise delivered. On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia. And let's continue to move Zambia forward together.
Camnet TV main news now live on Topstar channel 106, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube and on the Kenstream app. With the main news in detail, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. The Department of Immigration has warned members of the public against aiding, abetting or harboring illegal immigrants after courts in Lusaka, Choma and Kapiri-Mposhi convicted several offenders and imposed heavy fines under the Immigration and Deportation Act. In a statement issued on Tuesday to Camnet News, Department of Immigration Chief Public Relations Officer Namati Shinka stated that in Lusaka, the Magistrate Court convicted 46-year-old Burundian national Kelvin Kunda of harboring illegal immigrants and fined him 81,000 kwacha or in default, sentenced him to 2 years imprisonment with hard labor. Mr. Shinka said the court heard that Mr. Kunda, a recognized Burundian refugee residing in Zambia, traveled to Burundi in August 2024 and returned with 2 Burundian juveniles. Mr. Shinka added that although the minors were granted 30-day visitor permits upon entry, he failed to regularize their stay after the permits expired and continued to harbor them unlawfully. In a separate case, Mr. Shinka said the Choma Magistrate Court convicted 2 Zambians named Nefas Mudenda, age 39, and Kones Muchindu, age 30, of aiding and abetting illegal immigrants. He said the court fined each of them 140,000 kwacha or in default sentenced them to 9 months imprisonment with hard labor. Mr. Shinka said the convictions followed an operation conducted on December 30, 2025, during which Zambia police intercepted the pair while transporting 9 prohibited immigrants comprising 5 Ethiopians, 3 Somalis and 1 Bangladesh national. He said investigations revealed that the 2 had allegedly been paid to transport the immigrants from Lusaka to Livingstone after they illegally entered Zambia through Nakonde. Meanwhile, on July 16, 2026, the Kapirimponshi Magistrate Court also convicted 7 Ethiopian nationals for failing to report to the nearest immigration officer upon entering Zambia, contrary to the Immigration and Deportation Act. The Department of Immigration has since reminded the public that aiding, abating, or harboring illegal immigrants is a criminal offense punishable by fines of up to 140,000 kwacha and imprisonment of up to 2 years.
The Lusaka Magistrate Court has convicted Kelvin Kunda, 46, a Burundian national, for harboring illegal immigrants, contrary to Section 46(1)(8) of the Immigration and Deportation Act, Chapter 123 of the laws of Zambia. The court fined him 81,000 kwacha in default 2 years imprisonment with hard labor. Investigations established that the convict, a recognized Burundian refugee residing in Zambia, traveled to Burundi in August of 2024 and returned to Zambia with 2 Burundian juveniles. Although the 2 minors were granted 30 days visitor status upon entry, he failed to regularize their stay upon expiry of their authorized period and continued harboring them unlawfully. He was subsequently arrested and prosecuted for harboring the 2 prohibited immigrants. In a separate matter, the Choma Magistrate Court convicted 2 Zambian nationals, Nefas Modenda, 39, and Kones Muchindu, 30, for aiding and abetting illegal immigrants, contrary to the Immigration and Deportation Act, Chapter 123 of the laws of Zambia. The court fined each convict 140,000 kwacha in default 9 months imprisonment with hard labor. The convictions arose from an operation conducted on 30th December 2025 after the Zambia Police Service intercepted the duo in Choma while transporting 9 prohibited immigrants comprising 5 Ethiopian nationals, 3 Somali nationals, and 1 Bangladeshi national. Investigations established that the 2 had been paid to transport the illegal immigrants from Lusaka to Livingstone after they had unlawfully entered Zambia through Nakonde. Meanwhile, 16th July 2026, the Kapirimponshi Magistrate Court convicted 7 Ethiopian nationals for failure to appear before the nearest immigration officer upon entry into Zambia, contrary to the Immigration and Deportation Act, Chapter 123 of the laws of Zambia. Each was fined 10,000 kwacha in default 5 months simple imprisonment. The 7 Ethiopian nationals were apprehended on 4th July 2026 after officers from the Kapirimponshi Immigration Office intercepted an unregistered Nissan NV150AD motor vehicle along the Kapirimponshi Nakonde Road.
6 students at the University of Zambia, UNZA, Great East Road campus escaped without injuries after a fire broke out in one of the institution's hostels on Monday evening, destroying personal belongings and spreading to a neighboring room. According to the Zambia Police Service Public Relations Officer, Godfrey Chilabi, the fire started around 19 hours in room 18 of October 2 hostel at the Great East Road campus before spreading to room 28. Mr. Chilabi said preliminary investigations indicate that the fire may have originated from an electro socket while students were using an electric cooker. The blaze destroyed clothing, laptops, refrigerators, documents, and other personal belongings in both rooms. He explained that the 6 students occupying the affected rooms managed to escape after raising an alarm and calling for help. Mr. Chilabi said the Lusaka Fire Brigade responded quickly and extinguished the fire, preventing it from spreading to other parts of the hostel. Police have since opened an inquiry to establish the circumstances surrounding the incident, and the value of the damaged property has not yet been determined.
Police in Lusaka recorded the fire incident at the University of Zambia, UNZA, Great East Road campus, which occurred around 19 hours on July 20, 2026 in room 18 of October 2 hostel. The incident was reported to Handsworth Police Post under Charleston Police Station. Preliminary findings suggest that the fire may have originated from an electrical socket while students were using an electric cooker. The fire destroyed clothing, laptops, refrigerators, documents, and other personal belongings in room 18 before spreading to the neighboring room 28, where additional property was also destroyed. All 6 students occupying rooms 18 and 28 managed to escape without sustaining any injuries after raising an alarm and calling for help. The fire brigade responded to the scene and successfully extinguished the fire, preventing it from spreading to other parts of the hostel. The total value of the damaged property has not yet been established. Police visited and processed the scene, and an inquiry file has been opened to establish the circumstances and any further details surrounding the incident.
Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, has called on the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, to enforce the Electoral Code of Conduct against traditional leaders who publicly endorse political candidates, warning that such actions threaten the credibility and neutrality of the country's electoral process. In its fourth election update under the Kuteteza Masanko project, TIZ said it had observed an increasing number of traditional leaders openly backing candidates from both the ruling UPND and opposition parties ahead of the August 18 general election. TIZ cited public endorsements of President Hakainde Hichilema by Senior Chief Puta, Chief Chikupidi, Chief Kanyesha, Chief Hamusonde, and Chief Chitambo, while noting that Senior Chief Mununga, Chief Mwamba, and Senior Chief Nsama had declared support for opposition presidential candidate Brian Mundubile. TIZ argued that the Electoral Process Act requires the ECZ to ensure traditional leaders do not exert undue influence on their subjects and accused the Commission of failing to enforce the law. The anti-corruption watchdog also criticized Zambia's ambassador to South Korea, Andrew Banda, after he publicly stated that he had returned to Zambia to campaign for President Hakainde Hichilema. TIZ said active participation in partisan politics by civil servants constitutes gross misconduct under the Public Service Disciplinary Code and urged the Secretary to the Cabinet to institute disciplinary proceedings against the diplomat.
As we have previously stated, these regular updates, which are based primarily on what our long-term election observers currently deployed across the country are observing on the ground, enable us to objectively highlight various developments taking place within the electoral environment as we head towards polling day on 13th August 2026. The three issues we are focusing on in today's update are the increasing involvement of traditional leaders and public officials in partisan politics, the continued occurrence of political violence and intimidation, and the need for election campaigns to shift from political rhetoric towards issue-based policy discussions. Allow me to begin with the first issue. Now, as TIZ, we have noted with very growing concern the increasing involvement of traditional leaders and public officials in partisan political activities, as well as the rise in political statements that have the potential to deepen tribal and regional divisions during this campaign period. In recent weeks, we have observed several endorsements by traditional leaders across the political divide, raising very serious concerns about the erosion of institutional neutrality. On the ruling party side, endorsements included Senior Chief Puta of Chiengi District, Chief Chikupili and Chief Kanyensha of Luano District, Chief Hamusonde of Monze, and Chief Chitambo, all of who publicly pledged support for President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND. On the opposition side, we have noted endorsements by Senior Chief Mununga, Chief Mwamba, and Chief Nsama, all of who expressed support for Mr. Brian Mundubile's presidential bid. Now, these endorsements highlight the growing involvement of traditional leaders in partisan politics.
Central Province Permanent Secretary Dr. Miuna Mwanakampwe has warned agro-dealers in the province against sabotaging the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP by supplying uncertified farming imports. Dr. Mwanakampwe says the success of the e-voucher system is dependent on the integrity, professionalism, and commitment of every stakeholder. Dr. Mwanakampwe says the new Dawn government has successfully transitioned to the 100% e-voucher system. He was speaking during the FISIP sensitization and training of agro-dealers for the 2026-2027 agricultural season in Kabwe today. Details from Nais in the following report.
The Minister of Agriculture has held a sensitization meeting with agro-dealers in the province to chart the way forward on the 2026-2027 FISIP programs. Central Province Permanent Secretary Dr. Miona Mwanakampwe has warned agro-dealers in the province against sabotaging the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP by supplying uncertified farming imports.
You know, as an agro-dealer, the fertilizer you are selling is not genuine, but you are selling. You know the source of your seed is questionable, but you are selling. Let me be a bit firm but fair. We will continue to monitor what you do as agro-dealers. If we find you doing and involving yourself in shortcuts, we'll look at each other straight in the eyes and will not hesitate to take punitive actions. Your government has successfully transitioned to the 100% electronic voucher or e-voucher FISIP modality.
Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture Assistant Director for Agribusiness, Peter Zolu, says his department is in the province to sensitize agro-dealers on the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP and the Sustainable Agricultural Financing Facility SAF to ensure both programs run smoothly.
We are here in Central Province to undertake the sensitization for the FISIP and the SAF program for the 2026-2027. The coming of the e-voucher, you know that government does not buy and stock imports. Therefore, we are working with the private sector, and thus the presence of our friends, the agro-dealers and the banks is very paramount, because they are the ones that will buy the inputs and place them as close as possible to the farmer, so that the farmer can redeem those inputs at a most convenient location.
And the Gaulan Agro-Dealers Limited Director Enoch Piri spoke on behalf of the agro-dealers.
As agro-dealers, we've had the guidance to abide and supply the farmers with genuine seed. We were aware of the fake seeds, fake fertilizer that is on the market, but we're committed, and I think we also ask for the ministry to intensify in terms of monitoring.
Reporting for NICE in Kabwe District of Central Province, I am Clement Kachari.
And that particular story takes us to our first set of commercials, but do join us for more news when we come back. Do stay tuned.
Did you know that you've got the right to complain against any radio or television broadcast? Did you also know that every radio or television station has an obligation to respond and address your complaints when aggrieved? The first step is to complain to the station not more than 3 months after the broadcast took place. It is expected that the station will respond reasonably to you, that is within 14 days. If not satisfied, then escalate your problem to the Independent Broadcasting Authority.
We're at Mass Media Complex, Ali King Carter Road, PO Box 32475, Lusaka, or call us on +260 211 250589, or visit our website at www.iba.org.zm. IBA, promoting ethical and professional broadcasting.
In every celebration, there's a simple choice being made: to belong. Count me in. In moments of love and promises for tomorrow, count me in. At the checkout line, in the middle of an ordinary day, a reminder that every number matters. Count me in. Across our communities, our streets, the same message finds us. Count me in. From the everyday worker to the hands shaping our future every day, the call is the same. Count me in. traditions that bring us together, the message becomes impossible to ignore. Count me in. This election season, your vote counts. Get your NRC and voters card ready. Count me in.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
It's morning again in Zambia. Today, millions of our children will go to school more than ever before in the history of our country because free education is opening doors that were once closed. Today, with over 40 million kwacha to spend, communities will build clinics, improve schools, drill boreholes, and transform lives using the increased CDF. Men and women will walk through markets and stations freely without fear or intimidation from cadres. But the journey is not over and we still have more work to do.
We've started the change. Now let's finish the job. On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia. And let us continue to move Zambia forward together.
Welcome back to the Camnet News Desk. The news continues. The Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council, NGOCC, has called for an independent investigation into the Kalingalinga tear gas incident that left a young girl injured, urging the Zambia Police Service to exercise greater restraint during election-related operations. In a statement issued to Camnet News, NGOCC Board Chairperson Beauty Katebe described the reported use of tear gas against National Reconciliation Party for Unity and Prosperity NRPUP supporters in Kalingalinga as deeply concerning, saying the incident highlights the dangers of excessive force in densely populated communities. Ms. Katebe said the injury to an innocent child demonstrates the risks associated with policing operations that fail to adequately protect civilians, particularly women and children. She noted that women, children, the elderly, and persons living with disabilities are especially vulnerable when tear gas is deployed in residential areas, adding that such actions should never become an accepted consequence of election policing. Ms. Katebe urged the Zambia Police Service to ensure that crowd management during the campaign period is guided by restraint and proportionally, stressing that force should not be the default response to peaceful political activity.
The incident, which resulted in the discharge of tear gas and the injury of a young girl, is deeply troubling and underscores the serious risks posed when law enforcement operations are conducted without adequate restraint. Zambia Police must prioritize the safety and protection of all citizens, especially women and children, who bear the heaviest cost when policing actions place communities in danger. Girls and women navigate public places, markets, and compounds daily. The deployment of tear gas in a densely populated residential area disproportionately endangers them. Alongside children, the elderly, and the persons with disabilities who cannot easily flee such environments. That an innocent child was caught in this crossfire is unacceptable and must not be normalized as a collateral damage of election season policing. NGOCC calls upon the Zambia Police Service to exercise maximum restraint as officers execute their mandate to maintain law and order during this electoral period. Crowd management must be guided by proportionality, and force must never be the default response to peaceful political activities. We further demand a prompt, transparent, and independent investigation into this incident, with the officers responsible for the child's injury held accountable through appropriate disciplinary and, where warranted, legal processes.
The Zambia Public Procurement Authority, ZPPA, has released the third quarter market price index for 2026, urging public institutions to use the guide when making procurement decisions and avoid recalculating the permitted price variation. In a statement issued to Camnet News today, ZPPA Assistant Public Relations Officer Lucy Lumbe said the quarterly publication is issued in line with Section 12(3) of the Public Procurement Act No. 8 of 2020, which requires ZPPA to provide a market price index to help controlling officers, chief executive officers, and procuring entities make informed purchasing decisions. Ms. Lumbe reminded procuring entities that the acceptable price range for goods, works, and services is already reflected in the published minimum and maximum prices. She explained that the allowable variation of plus or minus 15% has already been factored into the index and should not be calculated again. Ms. Lumbe further encouraged procuring entities to continue submitting soft copies of standard and commonly procured items for inclusion and in future editions of the market price index.
The Zambia Public Procurement Authority, ZPPA, has published the Market Price Index for the third quarter of 2026. The issuance of the Market Price Index is in accordance with Section 12, Subsection 3 of the Public Procurement Act No. 8 of 2020, which requires ZPPA to issue a quarterly Market Price Index to be used by a controlling officer, chief executive officer, and procuring entities to make informed price decisions. Procuring entities are advised that the tolerable range of prices for goods, works, or services in the Market Price Index, which is plus or minus 15% of the average prices, is included in the minimum and maximum prices. Therefore, procuring entities are reminded not to recalculate the 15% as it is already included in the minimum and maximum prices in line with Section 3 of the Market Price Index publication for the third quarter of 2026.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has recorded a total of 189 unopposed candidates in the 2026 general election, a development that will reduce the number of ballot papers to be printed for the polls. According to the Commission, 6 mayoral candidates were elected unopposed out of the country's 116 districts. The ECZ also recorded 7 unopposed candidates for the National Assembly out of 226 constituencies. At the local government level, the Commission confirmed 176 unopposed ward councillor candidates from a total of 1,858 wards. The ECZ said the unopposed seats mean no voting will take place in those specific mayoral, parliamentary, and ward elections, as the candidates have already secured their positions without facing challengers. As a result, the Commission stated that the volume of printed ballot papers will be reduced by the number of these unopposed seats, a move expected to lower printing requirements for the August 13 general election. And that particular story takes us to our first set of commercials, but do join us for international and sports news when we come back. Do stay tuned.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our Zesco units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, downlights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbanda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Voting is one of the few moments where we all have a voice.
One person, one vote.
No titles, no status.
Just a choice.
It's not about doing nothing.
It's about showing up.
Because your vote matters. It's easy.
It's important.
It's ours.
Count me in.
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 For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodland, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
For decades, Zambia has searched for its promise. Through triumph, sacrifice, and difficult seasons. Many promised change, many spoke of hope, but the burden remained heavy. And then, a servant of the people stepped forward. Not perfect, not a magician, but a man willing to lead his people through the wilderness toward a better Zambia. Like Moses leading his people toward the promised land. The journey was never meant to be easy, because nations are not built overnight. They are built through faith, sacrifice, and perseverance. The work is not finished, but Zambia is moving forward.
On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia.
Thank you so much for still joining us, and welcome back to the Camnet News Desk. And now in international news. Women in the remote village of Bangolo in South Sudan's western equatorial state told United Nations police officers that ongoing insecurity, a lack of health care and education, and limited access to basic services continue to threaten their lives and livelihoods. Conflict in the region has displaced families and forced children out of school. United Nations police say women are among the community's strongest advocates for peace. Here's a roundup of international stories courtesy of Africa News.
Women in the remote village of Bangolo in South Sudan's western equatorial state told United Nations police officers that ongoing insecurity, a lack of health care and education, and limited access to basic services continue to threaten their lives and livelihoods Conflict in the region has displaced families and forced children out of school, while some hospitals remain shut. The situation is very difficult. There is so much sickness. Even when you go to the health center, there is no medicine. We depend on traditional herbs to treat our children, but many of them do not recover completely. Constant attacks have displaced dozens of families, disrupting education for some of the children. We are suffering. Those of us living across the stream had our houses burned and we cannot reach our farms. Whatever is causing problems in our village should leave us alone. Our children need education. Our daughters are growing up without going to school. They cannot even write the names of their parents. Both the United Nations and the South Sudanese government have been ramping up on security, especially in villages facing constant attacks.
Yes, of course they pose the insecurity challenges when they go in the bush to say they cannot do farming, they cannot do anything outside their homes. But UNMISS was there to come and report these things so that together and with the government of South Sudan, the best can be done to protect those women and children and also general civilians.
South Sudan gained independence in 2011 but soon descended into civil war between forces loyal to Kiir and Machar. Described as one of the longest-serving presidents in Africa, Cameroonian President Paul Biya's absence from the country continues to draw criticism. 44 days after Biya left Cameroon on June 7 for what was described as a short private stay in Europe, the 93-year-old head of state has still not returned, and speculation is growing. Rumors about his health have intensified public debate, while an opposition lawmaker has asked the Constitutional Council to declare the presidency vacant. The ruling RDPC is pushing back, insisting the state remains functional. Several analysts say the Constitutional Council should act after 45 days, though no law sets a clear limit on how long the president may remain outside the country.
The president of Gabon's state visit to France got off to a strong start on Monday with the signing of 3 strategic agreements. French President Macron welcomed Brice Oligui Nguema to the Élysée Palace for discussions focused on strengthening political and economic cooperation between their two countries. Top of the agenda was the issue of manganese, and an initial memorandum of understanding was signed between French mining group Eramet and the Gabonese government. The MOU lays out plans to process up to 700 kilotons a year of manganese ore in Gabon by the end of 2031. The agreement will help generate greater added value within the country, support its industrialization, and boost the competitiveness of the national economy, President Oligui Nguema's office said in a statement on Tuesday. The other agreements cover security and the water and energy sectors, the statement said.
And finally, in sports news this evening, Copper Queens captain BARBRA BANDA says Zambia must raise its performance and work together as a team as they begin preparations for their next international assignment, with the ultimate goal of securing qualification for the FIFA Women's World Cup. Speaking ahead of the team's training camp, Banda said the players were determined to learn from previous disappointments and produce better results. The skipper expressed confidence in the blend of locally based and foreign-based players, saying the mix of experience would strengthen the national team. Banda added that the squad was eager to reunite in camp and build cohesion ahead of the upcoming fixtures. Reflecting on Zambia's previous campaign, Banda admitted the team was disappointed with how it ended, but insisted the players were focused on making amends. The Orlando Pride forward also cautioned against underestimating the opposition, noting that women's football continues to improve across the continent. The Copper Queens are expected to assemble in camp as they intensify preparations for the upcoming international fixtures and the World Cup qualification campaign.
Feel like as a team we just have to pull up our socks and maybe probably win this WAFCON for each and everyone. And looking at the loss that we have for Coach Bruce, I think we are trying by all means to do something great for him so that maybe wherever he is, for sure he should be happy with us. Looking forward to a full squad. You know, it's always important to regroup together and start everything together so that we know the pace we are moving through. And looking at the experience, I think every player is bringing different experience to the team, and everyone has a lot to play. So it will be so exciting, and I can't wait for it because I'm very sure the competition is so high. Looking at the local players and the international, so when we come together, then we are heading somewhere. Honestly, the way it ended last time, we were not happy, but I think this time around we want to do more and definitely to qualify to the World Cup and win the WAFCON itself. So I can assure you this time around it's a very different game, and we know that we are not underrating any team. Every team has improved and every team is working so hard. So it's up to us and to work more extra hard.
And that particular story brings us to the end of this edition of Main News on Camnet TV. But before we go, a recap of stories that made headlines. 3 convicted for harboring and aiding illegal immigrants. UNZA students escape unhurt as fire destroys property at October 2 hostel. TIZ challenges ECZ to act on traditional leaders' political endorsements ahead of pause. In international news, insecurity and poor services putting South Sudanese women's lives at risk. In sports, BANDA targets World Cup qualification as Copper Queens begin preparations. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31. It reads, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." That ends the Bible reading, and that concludes this edition of Main News on Camnet TV. But dear viewer, like always, be reminded that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Now showing on Top Star channel 106, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on the Kenstream app. On behalf of the entire production team here at Camnet TV, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Good evening and God bless.